What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Volks TV. It's bus time. It's safari weather. I'm missing out, man. I haven't driven this bus in months because the thing won't start. I can push it and bump start it, but I don't want to have to do that every time. You know, I'm kind of old and not really in the shape for that. Not the right shape. So what we're gonna do today, I ordered an ignition switch that we're gonna replace. This is an empty one from our friends over at bugeye.net. They sent this down for us with some new keys. I kind of did some testing back there and some hooking up remote switches and different batteries, and we were able to get it to start one time that way. Now it won't start at all that way at all, but it could be just the ignition switch is not making a good contact in the start or run position. So we're going to replace this starter. I'm going to show you how we're going to take this whole dashboard apart and check the wiring and see if we can and kind of figure out what's going on in there if something's bad, because like my dash lights don't come on anymore. Maybe I blew a fuse for that. We're going to check the fuses. The fuel gauge just ticks over and seems to read okay. That's the only thing that's really working in the dash right now. So let's get in there. We'll take this whole thing apart and check some wiring and replace an ignition switch. All right, so now we're in the bus. You know, we check it again just to be sure. But I turn the key, I get a flicker, I get nothing. You know, nothing from the speedo. I don't get any lights down here, and my radio.
The Bluetooth device is ready.
So once we, I got a squealy neighbor. Needs a little WD-40, I think. So we get the radio powering on when we get the ignition on, but that's the run position, not the start position.
The Bluetooth.
See, so she'll start screaming at me as soon as I turn the key on. So I know I'm getting power up here. So let's just get this thing cleared out. We'll get the CB radio out of here because we don't need it for this part of the procedure to get the bus going again. We're gonna disconnect the battery in the back just to be safe so we don't short something out. And then we'll zoom down there and pull this tray out, pull this bottle out, get this loose, and then we can climb underneath there and check the wiring up underneath, and we can put that new ignition in there. So let's get in there and just do it. All right, to get that shelf off, there's 3 screws, you know, kind of around the back side, and then there's a couple screws underneath that hold it to the pod, speedometer pod. You got one right there. Sometimes you have the bottle, sometimes you don't. That one that holds the bottle is the one that holds the tray in. There's one back here, and that one is also holding my radio ground strap. Everybody always forgets about that one. And then you got that same one over there in the corner that would hold the bottle if it was on this side. Actually, no, I lied to you. It's that one. The one that holds the bottle just holds the bottle. The other one's in the corner here. That's right. And then underneath, back here, you have these 2, I think they're 13s, bolts that hold the steering column to this. And then you got to get those loose, and then the whole shelf kind of will come down and out of the way, and we can get up in here. You know, back here where the spooky harness is, that's where we need to be. Yeah, so I'm gonna get me a screwdriver. You want one that's kind of long because you got to be able to reach deep in the back there to get those screws out, especially that middle one. And then a 13mm socket right underneath there. So let's go ahead and get those off, and we'll drop that tray. So underneath here, you're going to find that one screw, and that's what holds the ignition switch in. And on mine, it's a flathead, which is dumb, because everything else is a Phillips. Remember, we disconnected the battery. It's very important that we disconnected the battery because these wires can touch. You know, you get shocked, you blow something up, you're gonna have a bad time. Stuck. And the new one did not come with a screw, so we're gonna reuse this one. You can get through here. Oop, don't lose that little washer either. You're gonna need it. Okay, now we got our ignition out. I can see it's not the original one. Here, let me grab you. It's got all kinds of weird tape junk on there. So that's already a bad sign. So we're gonna replace those. Push back. How's that? The new one. These little posts. These are numbered. You got a 50, a 30, and then a 1554. You want to make sure that you put the right wire in the right spot. This is where that little screw goes in the bottom. See that shape? So we're going to hold this in the same position and we're going to swap those wires over one at a time so that we don't get confused. I don't know if Danny did this before we bought it or the previous owner did this. Man, that one's on there good. There we go. And then this is our power. The electrical tape. Alright, and then fish that back underneath. This is the tricky bit. You gotta hold it and get that screw. There it is. And then you take your little flathead. Now before you get it tight, you want to make sure that it's poking out right there, because that's important. And you don't want it to be loose. So there we go. And that's the, yeah, that feels good. Always check the function before you put everything back together. I'm not going to put the battery on yet because I'm going to be messing with these wires a little bit. But at least we know the ignition's in and you know, it turns. It's not locked up or anything. Doesn't feel loose. Feels good. So let's redirect this camera so you can get a little bit better view of the wires, and let's see if we can poke around in there and see if there's anything wrong with those. Alright, in a bus you got to get a little creative to make room to look under the dash. So we got our shifter bungee corded over that way. I took out the driver's seat, I put a yoga pad in here, which is fitting because we're going to have to do some yoga to get underneath there. But basically, you just kind of tuck yourself in here. Looking in there, I could see, you know, right off the bat, this wire's got a repair done to it. Closer to the top of it, up there, it's burnt a little tiny bit. So we may have to fix that. That's I think that goes to the headlight switch. Is over here. We had another wire that goes back to the I want to say it's the generator light down here on the back that is got, it's this one right here. You're not gonna be able to see that, but it does have a little burn, this guy, and it's been repaired, patched as well, so probably gonna have to get in there and fix that. Everything else looks pretty good connected. This little guy, I don't know what the heck they got going on here, but it's like soldered. It's just a mess. This is my headlight switch, so that's probably why I don't have high beams, because the power coming in is good, but the power coming out going down to the, you know, the little thing over here, my high beam, it's burnt and soldered and garbage. So we're gonna have to fix that at some point, but right now we're just trying to get this dumb thing to start. So everything else looks good. All the ignition wires, nothing back here looks bad, nothing is burnt or crispy, too crispy. This is all our radio stuff, you know, we know that works. We've always got tasty tunes. There's our fuses, and once we get the tray back mounted, we'll get in here and take a look at the fuse box and see if there's anything burnt up there that might keep us from starting. So let's put this back together and see what's going on behind that cover. Well, there you go, is your spaghetti system, as we call it. This is our, I don't know what that is. I think this is the, yeah, this is a 12 volt blinker thing. Oh, we got a weird noise out there, it's the neighbors. This is all stuff that we've added. This is for the fog lights and stuff. Try to keep it clean, but there's just no room for anything. I do have this brown wire. Brown is usually a ground on these harnesses, and I don't know where this brown wire goes. It's just not connected to anything at all. So that's a little concerning. All of these pins are good. All these wires actually look okay. And these are the fuses right here. Don't break that. You need that. You don't want to have a broken one. All of these fuses look, sometimes they can be broken and you can't tell, but these all look pretty good. A couple of these I've replaced, you know, but those are all nice. This thing, you got to be careful. See, I got this electrical tape right here, is because this whole fuse thing, like, it's kind of a janky setup how it goes in there, and they get loose, and this one was actually shorting out on the body here, and it was causing some crazy sparks and smoke, you know, when you wiggle stuff. So I put the tape on there, kind of took up a little of the slack, and it stopped it from touching. The Wolfsburg West replacement ones, it's like the only thing they make that's not great, and they're known to just short out down here, so you got to figure out something. This electrical tape worked. I do see this. This is really not good. I need to fix this. This wire is a power wire on my whatever that is, and that's supposed to be sort of locked into that little hole right there so it doesn't move. And that thing is like, oh, now it's locked in there. Shoot. This one, you see that? That thing is like nuclear melted. I want to say this is also the headlight relay or something, but it is super fried. My headlights were working, my high beams were not working, and that could very well be it. That thing is like broken, melted, gone, disappeared, ruined. So probably gonna buy a new one of those, probably gonna buy a new flasher relay and get those fixed. You know, but again, that doesn't have anything to do with starting. I'm not gonna drive this bus until I get all that stuff fixed, but I can't drive it at all if it doesn't start. Alright, we got it all back together, and I realized that the GoPro died because it got too hot. It doesn't like being in hot weather, so you missed the reassembly, but it's okay. You saw me take it apart. Just do that backwards, it'll go back together. We got the new ignition in. I went and hooked up the battery, tested it. We got good voltage. Let's see if we can get this thing to start. So we're in neutral. First click, gas gauge clicks on. Still no lights on the speedo. The Z. Nah. Nothing. Well, I don't know. I've replaced the starter, I've replaced the ignition switch, I've checked all the wiring, I've reconnected all the factory wiring to the starter. I got rid of the dual battery switch stuff that I had put in there, just thinking that might be part of the problem. Completely deleted that part of it and just put it back to factory wiring. Battery's got good voltage, it's 12.7 something, so it's good voltage there, and we're still not getting anything. So I don't know. Tell me what it is. Somebody fix my bus. I'll give you $100. Fix my bus. Really though, I think I'm just gonna take this down to Gary. Gary's got the summer off. You know, he's a teacher and he's looking for stuff to do, I'm sure. So I'm just gonna wrap it up, stick it on a tow bar, drag it down to his place, give him the motor, give him the bus, give him the shiny new keys, and just tell him, fix it and send me a bill. And I really want to drive this bus. I haven't driven this bus in months. It's been pretty much since the bus bash to Big Bend. That's the last time I've driven this. It's just been sitting here, and I drove it around the block when I did get it started a couple weeks ago. Took it around the block and had all kinds of issues with it. It got stuck on full throttle and started leaking some oil and I couldn't get it to start again. I don't know what's wrong with it, but we're gonna get it fixed. We're gonna get it fixed and we're gonna go on a camping trip, and it's gonna be amazing and it's all gonna be worth it. But until then, it's just gonna sit for a little while longer, I guess. So that'll do it. It's super hot. I want to go back inside. I need something to drink, and I need to just sit in a dark room and think about fixing my bus. Check all the links down below. Get you a shirt at the special link down there. Visit all the friends and have all that fun. And hit that subscribe button. That's really important. That's what keeps us going on this thing is you guys subscribing and leaving comments, telling us, what do you think is wrong with this bus? What do you think I need to do? I'll do it. I'm gonna get in there and probably fix those couple wires, but those didn't have anything to do with starting, really. And the fuses are good and everything from front to back look good. So I don't know, if you saw something that I missed, let me know in the comments. Or if this has happened to you, let me know in the comments. I'm not even getting a click from the starter back there. I got nothing back there. So it's very frustrating. Oh yeah. Thanks for watching.